Welcome to this CSS tutorial. Now in this video we're going to be looking at how to change the font size, the font type and the color of our HTML elements. So we're going to be manipulating these elements over here. So don't forget, in the last video we created our external CSS file over here. We linked it here inside the head element. So what we'll be doing in this video, we'll be manipulating these elements, the h1 tag and the paragraph, these two paragraphs. So let's start with the h1. Let's change the background color of the h1 element. You use the h1 inside your CSS file. Now let's give it a background color. Let's give it a background color of blue. And now let's refresh this on our web page. You can see our website here. It's our web page. Now let's refresh. Now you can see we have a blue background color for our h1 element. So let's manipulate this paragraph. Let's code for our paragraphs. Now for the paragraphs, you come over here, you simply use the p tag, which is for the paragraph, the p tag. Now let's change the font size of the paragraph. No, let's change the color first. Let's change the color. Let's give it a color of red. Okay, red. And now let's refresh. Now you can see it didn't just affect the first paragraph, it affected both paragraphs. Now why is that? Because when you specify a selector, a paragraph, HTML will identify all the paragraphs in the web page. Now it's not like before when CSS wasn't introduced at first. Back then, when CSS has not been popular, people will only come to the particular selector and style it. They will come over here in the particular selector and style this particular one and go over to this next one and style it. So that's how they do. But now it's not like that. Now if you specify a particular selector, if you use a particular selector, if you use the p tag, HTML will select all the paragraph elements inside the web page. So if you give the p tag a color of red, HTML will select all the elements and give them a color of red. So that is how CSS works. Okay, so now let's change the font type. Let's change the font type of the paragraph. Say font hyphen type. No, not font. Let's change the font size. Font size. Let's give it a font size of 28 pixels. Now let's refresh this. Now you can see how big it is, how big the paragraph is. That is the font size. Okay, now we can also reduce. If you want to reduce it, you can use 25, 19, 18. So that is that. So but let's just reduce it. It's too big, so let's just reduce it. Let's give it a 20. Now let's refresh. And now this is now okay. So now to change the font type, you use the font family, not font type. So you use font family. Font family over here, font hyphen family. Let's just give it a Helvetica. Arial, Helvetica, and sans serif. So if the browser cannot load Arial, the browser won't fail to load Helvetica. If maybe it fails to load Helvetica, it won't fail to load sans serif. So that's the reason for all this comma over here. That's the reason for these commas. Okay, now let's refresh this. now you can see it has changed. Okay, you can see now it's not like before, it has changed. So that is it for the font type and the font size and the color. Yeah, so that will be it for this video, guys. We'll be discussing more on CSS in the next video, so I will see you guys in the next video.